So, folks, while many Jamaicans may consider other shores as greener pastures, there are foreigners wanting to become citizens of Jamaica, land we love. We find out why in the process of becoming Jamaican. Dr. Ong Tuka is formerly of Myanmar, who recently became a naturalized citizen of Jamaica. And Mrs. Amy Johnson-Lynch is acting Deputy Chief Executive Director of Operations at the Passport Immigration and Citizenship Agency. That's a mouthful. Good morning to you both.
Good morning.
Welcome to Smile. Welcome, Jamaican. How are you, sir?
Thank you. I'm doing well. Thank you.
Fantastic. Mrs. Johnson-Lynch, let me start with you. How often do we have this kind of thing? Every single year, or is just when people decide that I want to be a Jamaican, you put something together?
And you're referring to the ceremony?
Yeah.
Well, we have had so far about 3 in the last financial year, and the frequency is determined by the number of applications that we receive and that are approved.
Yeah.
So the last one, that Dr. Antukan was privileged to enter the Jamaican family, was held on June 6th, where we welcomed 28 new citizens to Jamaica.
Is there an average of about how many you get every year?
So the most we've had is 33 applications approved and citizenship sworn in at the ceremony. So that's the most that we've had thus far.
Okay.
Is there a trend around the countries or citizens of other countries that want to become naturalized Jamaicans? Where's the lion's share of them coming from?
Well, so far our statistics show in the last financial year just ended, we had most of our applications from Myanmar nationals.
Yeah. Why do you think that is? Is there any reasoning behind it?
Well, most of them come here for work purposes and then transition into applying for naturalization and then become part of our society. So primarily it is for work reasons.
Yeah. Dr. Tuka, how long have you been in Jamaica?
I've been here for 16 years now.
16?
Yes.
You came here originally, why?
All right. I was initially in Canada, and I went there as a fresh graduate to start my career as a doctor in Canada. And during the process of the registration examinations, I was looking for some way to get work experience. And my wife suggested, why not try Jamaica? And I came over just to do about 1 or 2 years of work experience, finish my registration exams before I go back to Canada, and then I stayed.
Canada?
Yes.
Why not Myanmar? When did you leave Burma?
2008.
2008?
Yes.
Why? Just to go to school, or?
No, I finished school, and my father was working in Canada at that time. So I have family there, so I just went to Canada to start my career there.
Yeah. And you fell in love with Jamaica?
I did.
Yeah. What about Jamaica has really grabbed your passion and your love?
You know, it's hard to put it in words, but in Jamaica, I felt at home. You know, I was never alienated. You know, I felt accepted, welcomed, and it's a special sense of feeling that you feel. You know, knowing that you are wanted. You know, you're welcome. Yeah.
What's the process? How long you have to be here and what you have to do?
So for naturalization, you're required to live here for a minimum of 5 years, and the year preceding the application, you must be in Ireland for 12 consecutive months. You are, of course, required to be an adult, so 18 and above, to apply for naturalization. You are also required to have 4 references who are deemed to sponsor the application, not financially, but as references to who will support the application. And these references must be Jamaican born. They are not to be a civil servant, a lawyer, or an agent of the individual, or a relative, for obvious reasons, conflict of interest, to remove bias and any unintended influence on the process. You are also required to submit your intention, a notice of your intention to apply for citizenship by naturalization in our daily newspaper prior to your application, and this must be published twice with a minimum of 1 week apart. And the purpose of this is to, 1, inform the Jamaican nationals and family that we have persons interested, and if there are any concerns with this individual, then they are at liberty to come and let us know, and that will be taken into consideration when we are making the recommendation for citizenship to the Honorable Minister of National Security.
You made mention of having to live here for 5 years and minimum 5 years and 12 months, 12 consecutive months in the leading up to your naturalization ceremony. How does one live here for 5 years outside of, say, for example, work or study? How would that process be facilitated?
So it starts once you enter the country. And one of the documents required in the application process is the passport that you originally entered the country in. So as I mentioned earlier, and in Dr. Khan's case, there are persons who have been working here over a period, they have work permits or work permit exemptions, and so when they interact with our immigration process, the extensions that they would have gotten over the period would accumulate to the minimum requirements of 5 years.
Why you have to be 18? Can't your parents file for you if you're younger than that? Why do you have to be 18?
Yes, the parents can make the application, but it would be under a different category, and that would be the registration of minors. So the parent is the applicant because you're a minor, and so they would be required to submit similar.
Yeah. You said naturalization. There are other ways that you can become a citizen?
Yes, there are. So the Constitution allows for the entitlement to citizenship by descent, birth, and by marriage to a Jamaican national. The Nationality Act of 1962 gives the minister, honorable minister, the authority to confer citizenship by way of naturalization, registration of Commonwealth citizens. Naturalization applications are geared towards non-Commonwealth nationals, whom we normally call aliens, and registration of the minors, and citizenship in the case of doubt.
Okay. Just before I go back to Dr. Tucker, so if I'm going to get married to a Jamaican, I don't have to do the 5 years and the 1 year thing, so I can come Monday and marry Tuesday.
Once you're married and the marriage is subsisting and we are satisfied that you fulfill the requirements, then it is your constitutional right to make the application.
Okay. Dr. Tucker, if someone asks you to tell me something about Jamaica, what would you tell them?
About Jamaica?
Yeah.
I was in a very pretty place.
A pretty place.
Yes, a very pretty place. Some of the landscapes I've seen are picture perfect. It's a very pretty place.
Similarities to Myanmar?
There are some similarities to Myanmar in terms of weather. You know, we're pretty humid, pretty warm climate. You know, so tropics, very green. So there are some similarities to Myanmar. Food, I guess rice is a main staple. We do eat a lot of rice here too. So yeah, there are some similarities to Myanmar as well.
Sticking on the comparisons, are there things that you miss about Myanmar, given that you are now, resident in Jamaica?
A little bit. I miss my parents. Some food, maybe. Yeah, I guess most of my family, and some food. Yes.
Yeah. Do you have dual citizenship, or did you have to give up your citizenship in Myanmar?
Oh, that is. I'm not 100% sure.
You're not 100% sure if you have to give it up?
Yeah, so I'm a citizen of Jamaica now, and I still have my passport from Burma, but I'm not sure.
How would you feel if they said you have to give it up?
That's a little difficult question. I have always been in and out of Burma. I've never been actually in Burma. In fact, the 16 years I spent in Jamaica is it's the longest time that I've spent in any country since birth. I've never spent 16 years in any country, including Burma, where I was born.
Yep.
So I have more attachment to Jamaica.
Yep. And what are you doing now? I said doctor, but where do you work and what do you do? Do you specialize?
I am a general practitioner, and I do private practice. And so I have a little practice in Spanish Town in the Greendale community, and I also have recently started a small practice in Portmore as well, in Pines.
You made mention of missing your family and the food, but can you compare the people, and the cultures? Like, are there similarities there, or the differences are quite obvious?
No, surprisingly, there are a lot of similarities. You know, even in culture, like the community based culture, you know, and the respect for elders. You know, the culture of greeting somebody as you go into a place. You know, there are a lot of similarities in culture as well. I was actually surprised to learn that, you know, so far away and yet so similar.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming, man.
You're welcome.
Blessings.
Thank you.
That's Dr. Ong Tuka and Acting Deputy Chief Executive Director of Operations at the Passport, Immigration and Citizenship Agency, PICA, Amy Johnson-Lynch.
Coming up, learning about the specially protected areas and wildlife protocols. Stay with us, please. Soon come.